Hello everybody, welcome to Honestly Rated, and today we're going to be talking about your favorite Tin Man, Wind-Up. Wind-Up is an odd character, and an odd pick, honestly. Haven't been doing too many episodes of Honestly Rated so far, and I didn't expect him to see him this early. I won't even lie to you. Wind-Up is an odd choice, but I'm happy to see him because he is a cool character in my eyes, and I do enjoy him. But how much do I enjoy him? You will have to see and watch the video. But how did Wind-Up even become a character in the beginning? What caused him to be a toy that will come to life in this beautiful game? Well, Wind Up was made by a toy maker, an enchanted toy maker. And his toy maker, he was supposed to be there to make sure all the clocks were all good, you know? He was a timekeeper of sorts, if you want to say. And then that little toy maker kind of just fucking popped out of, I don't know where the fuck he was, you know? He's just gone because he put, some coca in an Archaean oven and then he just, vanished. And he had to defend the secrets of that toy maker from some Cyclops and one giant fucking big eyeball. And he did it! And that's why he's here with us now, so... Yeah, let's go talk about Wind Up. But first, let me just say thank you for watching. Let me say it now, Leave down some, criticisms, characters you want to see in the future, and what you like about Wind Up. Why not? Let's do a little Wind Up love party in the comments. But thank you. It does mean a lot. Okay. So, let's go talk about Wind Up's first two moves. The first two moves of Wind Up is going to be Short Circuit and Wind Up. Literally just his fucking name, without the little dash in it. But these two moves work in unison. There's another moveset which really have to build off each other. And the reason why is that Wind Up literally has to wind up. He has to wind up or he will go slow. And if you overwind, which is what it's called, you'll become slow. And then you need to wind up, and energy will be taken for every punch you'll do, any future moves you'll do. Everything causes a little bit of wind. So you gotta guarantee that you're gonna be able to stay afloat. If you have a little, if you're more at the end bargain, you also go slower. But when you get up really high, he starts to move pretty quickly. And I really like how he moves. This is the physical character. He's full on punchy, that's his standard. And most Skylanders, if they're physical, usually they're not doing much if they're a core. But I do like how he works. He also auto locks onto people, which at some points can get annoying, and we'll get into that with a future move. But I do like it for the punching. The punching really helps him be able to navigate around enemies without having to fully have to look at them, which a lot of physical characters do have that problem where you have to turn back really quick, punch, and then look away, and then run, and then look back, and it's a very tedious process. But Wind Up doesn't really have that because you can just walk away. And another thing with the overdrive or the overwind, he will just spin and he'll use up all his energy, and it does 2 damage less than the normal attack does. It does 18, just his normal attack standardly, and then I'm pretty sure it does 16 if you overwind it. But it's a nice set, and it's a wacky set. Actually, it does the same amount. Never mind. So you just have to wind up right after, which 3 pumps and you get all the way to max, and you press it one more time, you're going to overtime. So, hey, pretty unique beginning moves, I won't lie. It's a very unique character, and it's a character you are gonna have to deal with it if you want to play as them. The first move you can buy is the Overcrank Stabilizer, which has a lot of fucking yap on there, but I promise you it doesn't really matter. They really just talk about how overtime works. And the cool thing now is that when you do overtime, you can press square, your primary button, and it'll send out a burst of bolts is what realistically it is. And it launches enemies up into the air, which is another benefit of Wind Up, which we'll get into with a future move, and that is his air control with single target enemies. Yeah, this is not bad. It does fill up your meter at some points. If you use it right in the beginning, it takes it down to half. But I also seen it when I went down to a lower half and then pressed the button before it ended, it would fill it back to half. Or at least it looks like it fills it up to half. Maybe I'm just fucking tripping, maybe just because I'm just pressing the overwind button a little too fast, but that's what it usually seemed to be. And again, this shows off more what the overwinding does. It's just like a nice spin. It's solid, right? It adds to it. It doesn't take away from anything. It does a little knockback. More of like a knock up, though. So, solid. And again, his air control, I want to talk about it here, but I really think it fits more in the later category, so we'll talk about it then. The next move is going to be the Winding Weapon, which we still haven't got our special yet, because this is going to have to help the special move that we have, the Wind Up. And what this allows us to do is pull in enemies towards us, which, you know, is nice, right? Like, if you're going to use the spin, you at least want the enemies to be near you, so you can bring them in and do that. Now, this kind of leaves me with a little bit of like a problem, you know? A little bit of like a weird thing here is that he really isn't too fast, at least in my opinion, right? Like, Wind Up himself is fast if you got it fully going, but if you don't got it fully going, he can become slow, and you're gonna get hit by stuff because, like, the overwind, like, I don't even know what to call it, like the spin doesn't do anything to like stop the enemies from attacking you. So realistically, you're just gonna get hit a couple times, and Wind Up, it doesn't have like the most health. You know, he has like 500 right here at level 14. So I don't feel like you really take too many hits, especially if you go to higher difficulties. He's definitely not going to be able to take many hits. So it leaves me with like, yeah, bringing him in probably would help with a larger area control with damage and stuff like that. But it also creates like a point where you're going to get hit. So maybe you would have to like implement a lot of burst shocks into it, or like the bolts busting to make sure that enemies didn't hit you. Again, there's a lot of I find a lot of novice in this guy. There's a lot of complexity that you have to kind of learn about him. The last two moves before we go to the paths are going to be Spring Shot and Power Pistons. Power Pistons, a bunch of nothing, right? It doesn't increase damage for your punches. Cool. Spring Shot is something I do want to talk about, though. Spring Shot is a thing that launches your enemies upwards. You know, it's a spring. It's obviously going to do some type of launching. And you launch it out, and it launches enemies up. And the cool thing about Wind Up is that his auto-locking allows him to look up, and he'll punch. He'll grab ass. Literally, he's the prober, dog. He fucking puts both those fists and just keeps going at it. And you can jump up in the air, and you'll float in the air for a little bit, and you'll keep punching. Like, he doesn't stop until they die. And I like that. It's really cool. And that's where his anti-air and a lot of, like, other things about him kind of, like, mix together to the point where I don't know where to, like, I don't know how I feel about this guy. This guy always feels so mixed, like, when I'm trying to, like, put it together. And the reason is because with that, his anti-air, right? Is that good? Yeah, I like that. Like, that stops enemies from doing anything to you. They're literally fucked. They're gonna die. But it's for a solo target. But Wind Up has so many other things that do so much, like, area control, but he doesn't have a lot of health. So I don't know where I'd put him. Like, do I put him with the category that he can beat a lot of shit up kind of quickly? Because he, like, can he? Kinda, right? Like, he does solid damage. 32 for a core? Not bad. But, like, he doesn't have the health to be able to, like, tank damage if he needs to. Which is, like, with that many enemies, there's no doubt you're going to take some damage. But, like, do I also put him in the solo category? Because he has a lot of things that, like, solo hunt people. But then he has a lot of moves that are supposed to work against that by pulling enemies in. Like, I don't know where to put him, right? Like, it's a very confusing place to put him. And that's a lot of, like, thoughts into one fucking whole sentence. But you just put that in your mind. You tell me. Do you see him as like a round, like, hitter everybody thing, or is he supposed to be more of like a solo, take one thing out then to the other? I really can't figure it out. On to the top path, which is gonna be the toy box path. This gives him toy base attacks, like the symbol monkey. You know, the scary ones, the ones that look creepy. Yeah, those ones. And I don't know how to feel about this move. A lot of Wind Up is a lot of mystery in the air, and the reason being is that I don't know what it's trying to do different. And that's because Wind Up's overturn and the symbols kind of work the same. It does, you know, damage to a large radius. The symbols don't pull in, so I guess that has it going with it. If you don't like the pull-in part of Wind Up, I guess you would want to pick this. And it's not really doing anything else. I've seen it push back a couple times with like the final hit of the symbols, but like, do you really need that? You could just launch the spring, and the other path will do knockback a lot better than the symbols are, which we'll get into later. But yeah, I don't know how to feel about it. Like, it's a lot of, it feels like something, like it looks different, it feels different, but then you just compare it to just overturning and then, or overwinding, and then it feels obsolete in a way, you know? Because I feel like overturning or overwinding does a lot more for you. Crash Symbols is a bit of a nothing burger, I won't lie, for abilities. This ability allows you to deal more damage with your symbols, which Maybe if this was just the natural symbols, if the symbols were just doing this much damage, and then the second one was just something different, yeah. Yeah, I would definitely maybe say the symbols had a lot more value to it. But putting two, you know, right next to each other, it's just a damage upgrade. No. I don't really like when they do that, just because when it comes to paths, paths should feel special. They should feel like they're really adding to a character. And we're just buffing a move. That just feels like a primary upgrade. Last but not least, we have Toy Gun, which allows you to shoot out the little suction cups, which do damage in the sky. So the way I think they wanted this to be used was with the spring. So it's really, you have to hold down the button after you use the spring. So there's already a correlation there. The thing is that the suction cups shoot really fast, and if you get an enemy in the sky and do it, it just holds them there, and you usually die. It takes up half your energy, or half your wind, and it doesn't let you just fully pump your energy into it. You have to, like, it'll stop, and then you have to redo it again, which is a little annoying. I feel like they should just let you pump all the energy into it, and that also goes with the symbols. I think they should let you just pump all your energy into it if you wanted to. There's no reason to stop it at half, in my opinion, but oh well. I definitely don't think it's bad. The auto locking sometimes gets fucked with it, and when you're attacking something in the sky and there's something below it, it'll start attacking the thing below it, and then you lose the thing on the top. It's not bad. I like it. It gives them a little bit more of a projectile. You see right there, you didn't know what to fucking do, and you go too far, it'll shoot way at you. It's finicky, but all right. Next up is the bottom path with Winder. This allows you to wind up a big old punch with its wind up punch. So, what do I think about this? Is this better than the symbols? Yes, definitely, because it's horizontal. Horizontal knockback, and it's constant, and it goes through enemies, and it's pretty far-reaching. And you know how I like my knockback. Knockback is one of the most overpowered things in a game like this, where you can launch things off the side and just kill them with ease. So I definitely think this is probably better than the symbols. Again, the symbols already feel like the wind-up action already, so you really don't lose much off of it. I definitely think already now the bottom path is better. But something I do want to mention, because this has a little bit of a Drobot feel, is that the two paths feel very similar in what they try to do. They inserted something new for the first one. The second one is supposed to improve in that, but you can kind of see that the second option for wind up in the bottom path really isn't much of an upgrade to the actual punch itself. I guess kinda. And then the third one is some oddball that's supposed to do something cuckoo bananas, wacko, silly, wacko mode. Which, again, I enjoy, right? And I think the bottom path does it a lot better. But I did want to mention that because when you have the similar structure to both, it feels kind of lazy to a sense, you know? Like, oh wow, I get to pick a path, but basically the path is the same thing on top. At least this one has more of a difference and feels a lot more different than just you can shoot more than 2, you can shoot 3, you know? Like, at least it's something different. The move after that is going to be auto wind-up, which, again, very misleading in the thing. It makes you think the big punch is going to gain something, but no. What this is going to allow you to do is take punches, I guess. I guess if you want to put it that way, if you want to relate it back to the punching motif, every time you get hit, you're just going to get a little wind-up. It's good, you know? Like, I think you will get hit if you use some of the moves, so maybe building up more wind-up would actually be very nice. It's very beneficial, especially if you do, like, the overtime wind. That's pretty good, right? Like, if you're getting hit in the middle of that, you can't really take the damage, but at least you're gaining a little bit of overtime, I guess. The last way we have to talk about before we go to the Soul Gem is going to be Power Crank. Power Crank is basically a carbon copy of one of the primary moves, which is when you hit overwind, enemies will get pulled into you. So now you have enemies getting pulled into you when you are just trying to wind up itself. You now pull in enemies while you're in that overwind state. And as you saw there, I got hit both times. And again, it's like that thing where it's like, am I supposed to like be able to take this damage? Because Wind Up doesn't feel like he should, right? Like he's not like the strongest character. He has like 800 health probably if you got him all the way up. But he's supposed to, like there's like the damage one he was talking about. Where you get more wind up after you take hits and shit like that. So it's a character that feels like it's supposed to be defensively super bulky, but you know what? I guess I can give him credit if you are playing this like in like a normal difficulty, maybe even hard. Maybe he will be able to take these punches pretty easily and not get fucked by it super quickly. But As you see there, like I'm getting hit a couple times, but it is solid damage. It is very solid damage. But I do get stuck, like I do get hit, so, and this is on normal. So the damage does rack up fast, and it's not like he can heal in any way by himself. And maybe that would have made him a better character if they somehow found a way to like put that in some way. But we're here to talk about the moves that he does have, not the moves that he could have had. The last move up is going to be Spring-Loaded Crank, which allows you to just run and you will wind up. It doesn't do a full wind up. It leaves a little bit of a chunk at the end, so when you do wind up, you can still use the move without going to overtime or overwind. I don't know why I keep saying overtime, but it's nice, right? Like you don't have to worry about winding up anymore. It does give away a little bit of its charm though, because that is kind of like a big Senso thing. Like you have to remember to wind up, but it's definitely nicer for people who don't have to like want to do that. I definitely think it puts them a little worse though. I feel like some people might want to just do it. And I think it makes them look worse too. Like I don't really like the gears or anything like that on top of them. I kind of just like just the classic old wind up to them. But is it a good soul gem? Yes, it adds a lot to the guy. It makes him a lot funner to play for people. Definitely, again, if you don't like having to wind up your character, like it still lets you do the wind up move and everything like that. Like energy does not build up when you're attacking, so winding up is still a valuable thing. It just makes it nicer on like the downtime, I would say. After taking a look at this robot's instruction manual, what do I give him out of my honest opinion? I have to give him a 3. And I put him in the middle because he is in the middle. Like he feels like such a middle character to me that I don't know what to do, right? So, he has moves to single out and to hit a bunch of things, which sounds good, right? And it is, but isn't. And I feel like his drawback is that with each thing being like that, he feels like both sides don't develop enough to be like considered the strongest, you know? I feel like the bottom path definitely is the way you should go. I can't tell you what to do though, but I feel like it goes like that. You know, knockback is my favorite thing. I think the other two moves do a lot better. It feels more fulfilling. The top path feels like it's already moves that are already here. You know, except for the toy gun. I think the toy gun's fun, but I definitely think the bottom path adds a lot more depth to the character. Yeah, and I really think that's really what the wind up is just he doesn't feel super developed in both sections because they needed to put both sides into him somehow, and I don't know what to say, you know, like I enjoy him, I still like him. If it wasn't an honest opinion, I would give him like a 4 just because I find the novelty of like the wind up and everything on him, the moves, I like it. Like I like the inspiration of like toy moves, right? Like they're cool like that, but honestly they don't do much for me. They didn't really add much incitement. You know, the symbols felt like the spring around. The toy gun, I guess, adds that little bit of projectileness to him that he doesn't really have, but it's not like you can really control where it's going to go. So, is it even really that worth it if I can't even like aim at the thing I want to aim at because of his auto lock, which his auto lock is good because I like it with the punching, but I think the projectiles fail at dealing with that, you know. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it's a lot of impact in this character. So if you want a character to like trying to break down and you want to learn someone a little bit more novice in a game like Skylanders, I definitely think Wind Up is probably up your alley. And you could definitely do a lot. But if you really don't want to learn stuff and you don't really want to like have to put that much thought into a character, Wind Up probably wouldn't be the best for you. And I definitely see it as like a heads and tails situation of a character. You know, you maybe like him, you probably wouldn't. I really can't see a middle ground, but I definitely think he fits in the middle ground. Again, a fucking weird character. But I enjoy him for that. So that's honestly rated for y'all. And again, leave down who you want to see next. Thank you for whoever commented Wind Up. It was definitely a treat. Definitely a weirder character for me to play. And go get the shipwreck like sail thing for the sheep thing. I did like that level though. So there's one thing you can take out of it. Just go at least get like the land from him. But yeah. If you enjoyed, subscribe, why not? I'm planning to do every single Skylander eventually, even if it takes me until I'm 90. So, hope you guys have a great day. Peace.